Bueno, amigos, qué placer. Y como siempre, estamos con una de las glorias del boxeo, uno de los comentaristas que más yo respeto, Jim Langley, que nos va a estar hablando porque él va a estar haciendo el comentario alternativo para la pelea de Gervonta Davis y Lamont Roach el 1 de marzo. Well, my friend, it's an honor, a truly honor to be here again with Jim Langley, one of the greatest commentators of boxing and sport in general in the whole history of the world. And Gene will be commenting, the alternative commenting for PPB.com, March 1, for this fight between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. Gene, you've seen so many good fights. What kind of fight is this between Gervonta and Lamont Roach?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's a potential mismatch. Um, and I fear I may not be giving Roach enough credit. He's a good fighter. He's highly competent. He has a representative background. He is not an ill-chosen opponent. He is definitely qualified to be on Gervonta Davis's opponent list. But just to give you a sense of how the boxing world views this, I asked the single most experienced boxing writer I know, and I won't use his name, but he's an icon in the business. I said, how much chance do you give to Lamont Roach against Gervonta Davis? And he said, the same chance that I give to a caterpillar crawling across the road in front of a steamroller.
Wow.
And what that speaks to is the spectacular destructive power and ability of Tank Davis. He's one of those rare fighters who seems to have unnaturally heavy hands. Heavy hands are a quality in boxing, the origin of which you can't possibly figure out. Some people have them, some people don't. Tank Davis demonstrably has amazingly heavy hands. Frank Martin was a lot like Lamont Roach in the sense that he had qualifications, he had a representative background. He did not appear to be on paper a dramatically mismatched opponent. For a few rounds, it was a feeling out process for both fighters. And then Tank did what Tank does. He exploded into a paroxysm of violence. He unleashed an array of power punches that not only knocked Martin out, but seemed potentially to damage him. It was a ruthlessly violent and spectacular demonstration of what really gifted punchers do. Tank Davis is a really gifted puncher. I think this, very much like the Martin fight, will be a fight for a period of time, maybe a longer period of time. Maybe we go to the 7th or 8th or the 9th round at this particular juncture. But eventually, I expect to see Tank Davis step forward, unleash a violent array of punches out of what has seemed to be, up to that moment, a counterpunching process, and annihilate Lamont Roach.
Basically, what's happening is because Tank Davis is already 30 years old. And I know he had some good fights, but we never seen Tank Davis against the elite of the division. At some point, we had Lomachenko, you had David Haney in the lightweight division. And then now you have Shakur Stevenson, you have Cameron Cepeda, you have good fighters, but you have Santa Cruz, who is coming from an above division. And then you have, uh, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Uh,
And you have so many good fighters, but not elite fighters in the lightweight division.
well, just the other night, Keyshawn Davis scored an impressive knockout win that put him onto that list. So yes, there's a list of about a half dozen logical applicants to fight Tank Davis, but all of them and their representatives want to be paid for the risk. And sometimes wanting to be paid for the risk means that you quietly, gently price yourself out of the fight. You're not negotiating in public, so to speak. The fighting public can't see exactly what it is you're saying and doing, but you set the price at a point where you know that Tank's people are not going to pay it because they know he's the attraction. They know he's what the audience wants to see.
You you talked to me the last time and you said, I doubt that Crawford fights Canelo because Crawford is a pride man. And you see what I, I tell you this.
Money talks, Jorge, and sometimes money talks louder than I do.
I
So yes,
know,
I
but
have
you
said
were right.
for a while that I thought that Crawford would exercise the good judgment not to fight Canelo. He's not exercising that judgment. He thinks he knows something that I don't know. He believes, or seems to believe, in his ability to bridge what amounts on paper to at least a 14-pound weight gap. I would call it a 21-pound weight gap. I don't think that Terrence has yet proven that he is a full-fledged 154-pound fighter, much less a 168-pound fighter. But I've been saying for years, if Crawford is your number one pound for pound, and for a fair number of people he is, Canelo is unquestionably number one dollar for dollar. If you want to make the most possible money at the middleweight levels in this sport, you have to fight him. And Crawford, after everything he's done and all the work that he's put in, wants to make the most possible money. So that means fighting the biggest name opponent and taking what amounts to the biggest risk. And I give him all credit for risk. And I regard myself as one of the world's biggest Terrence Crawford fans and admirers, and I don't expect him to have a real chance to win the fight.
But I brought you this not to remember that. I brought you this because if that was possible due to the money of Turki Alalshikh, let's say that Tank Davis is the last frontier. Because at some point, Canelo said, I don't want to war with Turkey. I don't care. And now we'll see what happens. That's the same with Tank. Tank is criticizing Turki Alalshikh. I don't want to war with him, blah, 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 blah. But money talk, as you say, do you think the only thing that will put Gervonta Davis against those great lightweight fighters is Turki Alalshikh money?
Turki Alalshikh money is prompting and will prompt quite a number of people across the full range of the sport to do things that they might say in advance they aren't going to do. And that's because the money is rising to irrational levels that you would not previously have thought was possible. And he's so enthralled with the sport. He's so enthralled with the spectacle. He's so enthralled, I think, or I suppose, with himself as a kingmaker and as the guy who is the straw that stirs the drink, that he's putting larger and larger sums out to get it done. I give him credit. I admire him for his devotion to the sport of boxing. I think it's great for a lot of people that he is investing in this way. And as I said, it's prompting, remember that I said this, it's prompting a fair number of people to do things that they have said in the past or might have said in the past that they wouldn't do.
Well, Jim, for sure, this fight is a mismatch. You know what is not a mismatch? A real deal? Your commenting, your alternative commenting for ppb.com. March 1. We'll hope to see you and good luck to you, sir.
It's a brand new method of communication. People get online and chat with me and my three colleagues at ppb.com. We chat back with them. Didn't exist a few years ago. Smart entrepreneurialism. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ian, and good luck.
Thank you, Jorge.